Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new COD mobile video. As usual, I am your host Papa Zcon, and as you can see by the title, in this video I'll be doing the top 5 SMGs in COD mobile for season 5. And there were some buffs and nerfs given to some particular SMGs in this season, and it's gonna be really interesting to see if any of those come into play this season. And before I actually jump right into it, guys, I want to apologize from now if you are hearing some weird sounds. It is raining heavily outside, but I just had to make this video now regardless, so hope that is not too much of a problem. So at number 5 I do have the Fennec, and I believe the Fennec was actually at number 5 the last time I made a video like this. And even though the Fennec is not really a super good gun, it is actually pretty decent. The Fennec is pretty much actually the best gun to use at a very close range. As a matter of fact, it's almost impossible to lose gunfights using the Fennec at a very close range. However, as the distance widens, it is a lot harder to win gunfights with the Fennec because one, it has a very heavy vertical kick, and the accuracy is also not the best on the Fennec. The Fennec has one of the fastest rate of fire of any SMG in COD Mobile, and this paired along with its fast ADS time, as I said, makes the Fennec almost impossible to lose gunfights at a very close range. So personally for me, I like to use the Fennec on maps that have a lot of corners where there will be mostly close range fights like Nuketown Russia or Shoot House, or even Hackney Yard can be a good map. Another thing that I actually noticed is that the Fennec actually dominates mostly at search and destroy than any other mode. But just to be very clear, it's nothing too special. If you don't want to really use meta guns and you want to try out different weapons, then the Fennec is definitely a good choice to use. At number 4 I have the Rust 79U, and I haven't used this gun in months, and this is a pretty mediocre weapon. I'm not gonna hype it up and say it is the best. It is just alright, but one tiny nerf and this could be one of the worst weapons in the game. And as I said before, I haven't really been using the Rust because unfortunately COD Mobile is showing no love for the Rust 79U. But one thing I can say, the Rust 79U is very beginner friendly. It is a very easy gun to use. Even though you obviously won't be winning a lot of gunfights against meta guns, it is very decent. The Rust has a moderate but pretty easy to control recoil. The rate of fire and ADS time is also pretty average for a SMG, making it pretty good at close ranges, and it can also be a very dominant gun at mid range. The Rust is actually a 5-shot kill at close ranges, and of course you will need a few more shots as the range increases, but as I said, it's nothing too spectacular. However, we have to keep in mind that overall SMGs are not really good. There are just a handful of SMGs that are actually carrying the pack. And of course, let me jump into my Rust class, which I have been using for ages. Firstly, I am using the YKM integral suppressor for increased ADS time, and it also grants a silence build. I'm also using the YKM combat stock, and I did actually use this over the no stock again because it's a lot easier to control. I'm also using the OWC laser. I'm also using the 38 round extended mag so I don't have to reload a lot. And finally, I'm using the grind laid grip tape for increased accuracy. At number 3 we have the close range beast, the QQ9, and of course this is the same old. The QQ9 was also at number 3 the last time I did a video like this, and of course the QQ9 will be in the top 5 for a while to come because as of right now it is a pretty balanced gun. Of course the QQ9 will dominate at close ranges mainly from 0 to 10 meters because of course of its high fire rate and its fast ADS time, as I did mention with the Fennec. And there's actually a huge divide between the QQ9 and the guns that I previously mentioned, as the QQ9 actually takes less shots to kill than the Fennec and the Rust 79U. With at 0 to 10 meters, the QQ9 is a 4-shot kill, doing 27 damage headshot, 25 damage to the body, and 23 damage below the waist. And of course we have to take this into consideration with its very high fire rate. And the QQ9 can also get work done at mid range, with at 20 meters it does 25 damage headshot, 23 damage to the body, and 20 damage below the limbs. And between the 0 to 20 meter range, that is where the QQ9 is most dominant. So I obviously wouldn't really recommend challenging anyone above that 20 meter mark, especially since guns like the DRH and PP19 are being so heavily used right now. You probably will not win against those. For my QQ9 class, guys. I just don't think that this class can be topped. I've been using this for such a long while now, but I've made a few changes here and there. So first, I'm using the monolithic suppressor. I'm also using the RTC recon tac long. So with both of those attachments, the QQ9 is much better at range. I am also using the no stock for increased mobility, so obviously I'll be able to move around the map very fast. I'm also using the OWC laser, increased ADS time, and I'm also using the 45 round extended mag. And as I always say, some people might prefer to use the 10mm 30 rounds, but you can use them interchangeably, I guess, and see which is better. At numero uno, I do have the QXR, and I know it should be very surprising that the QXR is actually still on this list, especially at number 2, since COD Mobile actually did try to give the QXR some pretty heavy nerfs this season. They were actually trying to focus on the enhanced bolt perk, because I guess that's what most people use, and they were also trying to do something about the range that the QXR has. While using the QXR this season, these changes can actually be felt, but they aren't anything too terrible. So they did increase the vertical recoil and decrease the accuracy while using the enhanced bolt perk, but again, it's just a slight vertical recoil, which is very easy to control, and the accuracy doesn't really mean a lot because the QXR is, as I said, one of the most accurate SMGs right now in Call of Duty Mobile. And as it relates to the range and the attachments that were nerfed to lessen the range of the QXR, my strategy was now to focus on making the QXR a more close range gun like the MSMC. Firstly, I am using the MIP light barrel short for increased ADS time and movement speed. I'm also using the YKM combat stock. At first I was actually using the no stock, but with the new attachments that I put on, it would be a lot harder to control with the no stock. I am also using the fast reload as I did on my previous build, and I'm also using the OWC laser, and of course the enhanced bolt, which did get a slight nerf, but it's still pretty good. And this QXR Gunsmith is actually pretty ideal for close range, and I do have my OG QXR class right here. This is actually better for long and mid-range fights. The previous one that I showcased has a much faster ADS time and is much better equipped for close range fights than this one, but both of them are still pretty good. And at number 1, we have the PP19. Despite the nerf that it did get a few days ago at the beginning of this season, the PP19 is currently the most used gun in ranked, and even with COD Mobile's attempt to kind of reduce the damage that the PP19 does at range, it is still incredible, and it actually beats a lot of assault rifles at mid and long distances. Now I won't actually be saying a lot about the PP19 because it is a pretty consistent gun, and it was actually a top gun last season even before it got nerfed, and obviously not quite a lot has changed. Now let me hop into my Bison class, which also is pretty recently created. So firstly, I am using the monolithic suppressor, which was on my last build. The monolithic suppressor did get a range nerf, but it is still pretty decent, I guess. I am also using the MIP extended light barrel to add some increase to the range. I'm also using no stock, of course, for a fast ADS time, the large caliber ammo A, and I'm also using the OWC laser.